Predictive programming is theory that the government or other higher-ups are using fictional movies or books as a mass mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. If 2020 was a bingo card, the Simpsons could already have at least 2 squares ticked off. In the nearly 30-year-old episode, not only does an unprecedented flu sweep through Springfield, but when the townspeople begin rioting, a swarm of killer bees that could be likened to murder hornets that recently hit the U.S.
Perpetrated by a group of Muslim terrorists. The attack is at the Twin, which is a reference to the Twin Towers. When we turn the sign upside down, the digits on the clock read 911 or 911.
And in the background looks like one of the Twin Towers getting hit by an airplane with explosions, fire explosions.
If you would look at this, you would wonder where the shadow's being casted from. Where's that airplane gonna go?
It looks like it's going straight for it. And the Pentagon has a big old fucking hole in it. Like it was hit from a missile. I mean, a plane, a terrorist hijacked.
But we're assuming it was a plane.
A terrorist hijacked plane, for sure. For sure.
This one's a little eerie.
Is it just like serendipity or like somebody tuned into the freaking mind hive of the world, of the universe?
I'm going to crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
I'll tell the flight crew.
Wow.
Isn't this insane?
That's crazy, bro! Welcome to Conspiracy Playtime Podcast.
Some people actually believe that the world is run by shape-shifting alien reptiles.
No fucking way.
I think just the whole podcast is rated R.
Will there be titty?
What the fuck is a conspiracy theory?
When 2 separate events occur simultaneously pertaining to the same object of inquiry, you must always pay strict attention.
The only Jewish conspiracy there is that I'm circumcised.
And there's this guy from the CIA and he's creeping around Laurel Canyon.
So anyone at any given time could be infected, don't even know it, and feel perfectly well. That's really the nature of science.
Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh?
I don't think so.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
We need to get the fuck out of here!
Fixing that testing regime, we need to have that in place before we move to that next phase.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I strongly believe that.
I do as well.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
The FBI killed Martin Luther King.
And it's fucking making sense to me now.
How many vaccines have you had? Have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci! Hail Fauci!
If our own government was responsible for the deaths of almost 100,000 people, would you really want to know?
Yeah.
Roll up your sleeves, take your shot, wear your mask, and please stay safe out there.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Conspiracy Playtime Podcast. The podcast where we explore ideas that might get you and me canceled or put on a blacklist by the CIA or the FBI or the social justice warriors. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how the Illuminati and the elites instill predictive programming to make you comply like a little bitch. And we're going to hand the reins over to Colby, my good old co-host over here. And my name is Jeremiah. If you've never been with us, welcome to the Conspiracy Playtime Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like and share to all of your social medias, although you might get canceled. So do so with extreme caution. You might just want to privately message this, slide into the DMs of your friends and make sure that they know about this bullshit that's going on. Expose the lights!
You know who you sound like?
I don't know who it is.
Frank Underwood. Hello there, Conspiracy Playtime. You may think I've been raping little boys, but I'll show you I haven't. All right. Predictive programming.
What is it?
I would think that most of our audience might have a handle on what that might mean.
You know, let's just pretend our audience is a bunch of idiots. Not that you are. You're a genius.
I pulled this up from the Ohio State University College of Arts and Sciences, and this is also been sourced from Rational Wicca. You ever go there?
I've heard of that one.
In this intro to the psychology of extraordinary beliefs, this is a predictive programming article written in April 28th, 2018 by a OSU, Ohio State University student by the name of Daria Beaver. Predictive programming is theory that the government or other higher-ups are using fictional movies or books as a mass mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. This was first described and proposed by researcher Alan Watt. Quote, predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes to be implemented by our leaders. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening possible public resistance and commotion. End quote. Then it was popularized by Alex Jones and David Icke. The most notable cases of predictive programming are the examples found in The Simpsons, The Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and the oldest being from Futility. You know what that is?
I don't know what that one is.
I don't either. Information can be found on blog posts, and many conspiracy theorists have either made videos on it or have spoken on the subject.
Oh, we're doing both right now. How about that, huh?
People who believe in this theory are mostly conspiracy theorists who think there will be a totalitarian government takeover.
What?
Or on the more mild side, theorists who believe tragic events are an inside job or completely fake.
What?
David Icke proposed that the Sandy Hook shooting was predicted in Dark Knight Rises. They forgot the K. Because Sandy Hook is shown on the map in one of the scenes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
While I was looking for more information on the motives behind the government participating in predictive programming, I found that the most commonly, people believe the government creates problems so the population will look to the government for a solution. It never happens.
We're from the government and we're here to help.
However, because the government planned for the crisis, the government will offer a solution that has been planned long before the crisis ever happened. One not very good example of this is the Patriot Act. Alan Watt, along with many others, believe a desired outcome is created through the power of suggestion in media.
I didn't know Alan Watt was in that fan because Alan Watts is...
This is not Alan Watts.
Oh.
This is Alan Watt.
Dang
I actually last night was very confused by that,
Okay.
so I had to make sure
Thank you.
they are
Thank
not
you.
one and the
I
same.
am glad you looked that up because I like Alan Watts.
Yeah. Alan Watt.
Is a
See, there's
different
no
man.
S there.
Yeah, okay.
This theory is still very popular today because any huge event can be seemingly traced back to a cartoon or movie that was fortunate enough to predict it. And that's what this episode is going to talk about. So this goes on for a while, and I'm very much inclined to skip the rest of it. But you get the idea of what predictive programming
Look
is.
into it yourself if you want to read the whole article.
The powers that be float the idea to us long enough to where when it finally happens that we are, in a sense, desensitized. Well, that was not a good way to say that. In a sense, desensitized.
But we are. I mean, that is the
But
idea. Is
that we are fully desensitized.
Yeah.
And God bless Daria Beaver for her lovely name and analysis of predictive programming. So today we're going to talk mainly about 9/11. But before we do that, we all know have always been on the forefront of predictive programming as far as like the zeitgeist of conspiracy theorists go when we're talking about such things. And we're going to look through examples of that real quick before hopping on over to 9/11. This is a Time magazine article. And
published in March 9th, 2017, and then they updated it in 2020.
Because there was a few more.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe now. No, thank you. With 31 seasons and counting on the air, The Simpsons is undeniably a television phenomenon. Yeah, I would say about 16 of those are worth watching. Both the longest-running American sitcom and animated program, the critically acclaimed cartoon is widely recognized as one of, if not the, best shows of all time for its humorous satire of everything from politics and pop culture to everyday family life. In fact, throughout its nearly 700 episodes, creator Matt Groening and his team have been so on top of the country's cultural pulse, they've even managed to predict several major historical events, along with a few less momentous happenings. Siegfried and Roy's tiger attack. Season 5, that one was so hard to predict, I bet. It's just like those guys fuck around with tigers long enough. So apparently in season 5 of The Simpsons, the episode entitled Springfield with the $sign instead of an S, and in parentheses, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, there is a scene where one of the tigers attacks Siegfried and Roy. So they predicted it in 93. 10 years later, it came true. Faulty Voter Machine, season 20. They predicted this in 2008. Kind of late in their running, season 20, episode 4. They predicted it in 2008, came true in 2012. And so you guys remember, it's okay to call election fraud when it's on a certain side. But in this one, Homer tries to vote for Barack Obama, only to have the voting machine change it to John McCain several times. Apparently, in 2012, there's footage of a Pennsylvania machine that showed this happen. Somebody tried to vote for Obama instead of it being McCain. It was Mitt Romney at that time. So they predicted it in 2008 when Obama first ran. And then it came true.
Clearly that didn't have a sway, though.
Well, I want to remind everybody that Matt Groening was on the Epstein flight logs.
Is he one of the writers?
He's the creator of The Simpsons. And I doubt by like that episode. But I mean, it's The Simpsons, for what you want to say about it, it's one of the most influential shows ever made. I mean, without that, we wouldn't have South Park, we wouldn't have Family Guy, and I could keep probably naming 1,000 cartoons.
American Dad. I think all of them really.
So let's just go through these. If you see something that...
The Higgs, that was an interesting one.
You want to go back to that one?
Yeah.
This is an episode from 1998, season 10, episode 2, that came true in 2012. The episode's entitled The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace. The existence of the Higgs boson, or God particle, a breakthrough that helps explain how everything in the universe has mass, wasn't confirmed by physicists until 2012. Wow, I'm glad you told me to go back to this one. But according to Dr. Simon Singh, the author of The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, after Homer decided to become an inventor in, quote, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, end quote, he was pictured standing in front of a blackboard with an equation that predicted the mass of the yet-to-be-discovered particle. If you work it out, you get the mass of a Higgs boson that's only a bit larger than the nanomass of a Higgs boson actually is, he told The Independent. It's kind of amazing as Homer makes this prediction 14 years before it was discovered.
It's like, what are the odds?
And it's a donut.
Of course it is.
That's awesome. Ooh, this one's not bad.
Oh, yeah, I like that idea.
But didn't take a genius to figure this one out. Talking about the NSA spying scandal in the Simpsons movie, came out in 2007, 6 years before the actual revelation in 2013, when the Simpson family is forced to go into hiding following their escape from the following their escape from the EPA.
That's how they called it in The Simpsons, isn't it? Didn't they call it the
EPA? I don't know, but I just did.
I think they called it the EPA.
Following their escape from the EPA biodome enclosing Springfield, the NSA locates Marge and the kids by listening in on one of their conversations. However, it wasn't until 6 years after that the Snowden revelations happened. Here's a little
and they show
picture
all the people
of the
listening.
NSA. Okay, this one's actually kind of cool because it's so fucking long. It's like 19 years.
Yeah, and from 1985,
so
I was 1 year old.
So in season 6, episode 19, Lisa's Wedding was the name of the episode. Lisa visits a fortune teller at a Renaissance fair. Viewers are transported 15 years into the future of 2010, so they were only 4 years off. A time when wristwatch communication technology exists. However, even the Simpsons future society was a little ahead of its time. Naysayers. Yeah, it's like the flip phone version.
Yeah, and it also reminds me of like Star Trek, kind of, you know.
Well, Star Trek kind of had the iPhone thing figured out. They talk about this
and
one.
also they had voice or like video chat as well.
Yeah. So in 97, season 9, episode 3, Lisa's Sax was the name of the episode. Marge is reading a depressed Bart a book about Curious George and the Ebola virus. And so this is 97, and then in 2014 we had that big Ebola scare. It doesn't really have a picture of it. Fibrous corruption scandal, Greece's debt default. We'll just kind of go through these. The Nobel Prize.
I mean, I'm sure most of you have kind of heard about
this one's pretty interesting.
The
because,
Donald Trump thing. That was
well,
big.
there's been like that one that was Trump on the tarmac. It was a generated meme. It wasn't really real, but this one is real. In season 11, the year 2000, Lisa becomes president, and as you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. But a lot of people are saying that Lisa is Kamala Harris.
Oh, I would have thought Lisa would have been
Joe Biden.
No.
Hillary?
Yeah.
But she's inheriting Trump's economy.
Right.
Which is funny because Trump had a great economy until coronavirus. But anyway, whatever you want to say.
But the budget
they
crunch,
predicted Trump as president.
Right.
Lady Gaga's halftime show. Oh, this one's interesting. Disney's Fox takeover. So Disney didn't acquire Fox till 2017. In 1998, this was in a Simpsons episode.
Whoa.
A division of Walt Disney Company. And of course, Simpsons is a product of 20th Century Fox, so maybe it was already in the works back then.
Well, not to mention, it's probably, if you
inevitable.
were in the industry, you would see like, well, Disney's kind of gobbling
that
up
one's
everything.
like not that impressive, but it is one that came true. Game of Thrones, I don't give a fuck. Season 4, episode 21, entitled Margin Change. If 2020 was a bingo card, The Simpsons could already...
Can you go back to what episode number was it?
21 of season 4.
Episode 21. 201.
Or
Event
Agenda
201.
21.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If 2020 was a bingo card, The Simpsons could already have at least 2 squares ticked off. In the nearly 30-year-old episode, Margin Chains, not only does an unprecedented flu sweep through Springfield, but when the townspeople begin rioting to demand a cure for the virus, a swarm of killer bees that could be likened to murder hornets that recently hit the U.S. unexpectedly come into the picture. Wow, man. It's just a coincidence because we're already writing about stuff that happened in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. None of those things did. All right, so that's the Simpsons list. We breezed through that pretty quickly. One of the most life-altering events of our lifetime. September 11th, 2001. I had already known that there was a bunch of predictive programming. And actually, before I get into that, I want to show you a video from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie.
So it's like a 10-minute video, but it's fucking insane.
I love those movies.
They're pretty good. You know, Robert Zemeckis, dude, he's the guy that made Forrest Gump. He wrote and directed all 3 of those Back to the Future movies.
How's it going, guys? White Rabbit here. Today is September the 11th, 2015, and in honor of September 11th, 2001, I felt like it would be appropriate to release a video in regards to 9/11 today. Now, I don't have any new theory planned out or anything like that, but I did want to share with you a phenomenal video that if you haven't seen, you really need to. and I'm going to include it in this video, along with a link to the original in the description down below. Now, the producer of this video has slightly varying views to me as far as religious views, and accredits a lot of these predictive programming phenomena on synergy type of variables. Needless to say, that's not what I subscribe to. But the predictive programming that he points out in many of his videos is undeniable. And so without further ado, here's the video. I hope you guys like it, and
this is a
God
video
bless.
within a video within a video.
Dear Dr. Brown, on the night that I go back in time, you will be shot by terrorists. Please take whatever precautions are necessary to prevent this terrible disaster.
In the 1985 classic Back to the Future, at a scene called the Twin Pines Mall, we will bear witness to a sudden surprise terrorist attack, perpetrated by a group of Muslim terrorists. The attack is at the Twin, which is a reference to the Twin Towers. When we turn the sign upside down, the digits on the clock read 911 or 911. The Twin Pines are a symbolic representation of the Twin Towers. Before the terrorist attack, the twins are present, but after the attack, the twins are gone, replaced with a single pine. This takes place on 9/11, where the twins are destroyed and replaced with a single tower, the One World Trade Building. Also at this scene, Doc shows us two stopwatches, both of which display encoded 9/11s. Is this only a coincidence? The pines are the towers, and this symbol system is confirmed in Back to the Future Part 2, where we see the twin pines appear again on a projection movie screen in Marty's future house. Marty's family gathers around the movie screen, and the twin pines actually morph into the twin towers. This is because the twin pines are the twin towers. The pines are the towers. Pines, towers. And the Twin Pines Mall is the Twin Towers Mall, which is why all the clocks here secretly say 9/11 and why there will be a Muslim terrorist attack resulting in the destruction of the Twin Pines, or the Twin Towers. But the appearance of the towers is not a random backdrop, as we can see the Statue of Liberty lurking just as secretly as the towers, making this scene a secret recreation of New York City, where Marty's family has gathered to stare at Ground Zero. Of these three characters staring at Ground Zero, one of them is completely upside down. But in the entire Back to the Future saga, this is the only time when an upside-down character will ever appear. The hint being given here is to observe the scene from his perspective by turning it upside down. But when doing so, the Twin Towers are clearly shown to be falling down. In the entire history of cinema, this scene of Back to the Future is the most literal depiction ever made showing the Twin Towers falling down. So how is it possible that this scene would occur in a story that already contains a terrorist attack by Muslims at the twins on 9/11, where the twins are the Twin Towers, which then execute Hollywood's best depiction of the Twin Towers collapse? But Back to the Future doesn't just portray this attack, it develops into an elaborate warning about it.
I could just go back early and warn him. I have to tell you about the future! Doc, about the future. You will be shot by terrorists.
But Marty is carrying more essential information about the future. He knows the exact time and date that a tower will be struck.
Save the clock tower! Save the clock tower! Don't forget to take a flyer. Save the clock tower!
In a story we already suspect of being a 9/11 warning, how is it possible that this phrase appears on a flyer telling the future? Then, when the tower strike takes place, a giant flaming 9/11 is ignited in the street. Marty knows exactly when and where this tower strike will happen because it's all written on this flyer and placed in his hands. But something lurks in the background overseeing this transaction.
Oh my God!
But why does this symbol hover while Marty is forewarned about the tower strike?
Is that nuts?
Back to the Future was written and directed by Robert Zemeckis, first released in 1985, but to depict the future, Zemeckis chose October 2015.
All right, Doc, what's going on, huh? Where are we?
When are we?
October 21st, 2015.
2015?
The Twin Towers scene takes place in October 2015, and the towers appear on a movie screen, meaning the McFly family is watching a secretly placed Twin Towers movie released on October 2015, directed by Robert Zemeckis. So how could it be that now, in the real October 2015, a major Hollywood production is about to hit theaters worldwide, and it is exclusively about the Twin Towers? It happens to be directed by Robert Zemeckis. The title of this new Twin Towers film is The Walk, and this new Twin Towers film has the exact same release date as the secret Twin Towers film Planted in Back to the Future, which exposes the symbolism of the pines and depicts the Twin Towers collapse. So why would Zemeckis now draw our attention to it with a major Hollywood production? Back to the Future was released in 1985, The Walk in 2015, exposing this warning after 30 years. Marty writes this warning into a letter. He seals it shut, intending for it to remain hidden for a specific amount of time.
What's the meaning of this?
You find out in 30 years!
What's the meaning of this?
You find out in 30 years!
The Walk is the reveal of the 9/11 warning, given to Doc while he is rigging a giant wire to the Twin Tower representing Clock Tower.
Evening, Dr. Brown. What's with the wire?
The Walk is about a plot to rig a giant wire to the Twin Towers. So Marty records the warning while Doc is rigging the wire to the tower. Marty tells Doc he will understand the warning in 30 years.
Find out in 30 years!
30 years later, the director makes a movie about rigging a wire to a tower, the Twin Towers, because the warning within Marty's letter is about a terrorist attack at the Twin Towers.
What's with the wire? What's with the wire? What's with the wire? What's with the wire?
After rigging this wire, the tower strike takes place, and a Marty McFly from the future runs out onto the scene. He has just time traveled here from October 2015, the release date of The Walk. But in The Walk, standing on top of the Twin Towers, is Marty McFly. This Marty has arrived here from the exact date where this Marty is standing. The plot of The Walk is the tower wire rigging event that just took place at this scene. One Marty is standing on top of the Twin Towers, while the other Marty stands inside a giant flaming 9/11 in the wake of a tower strike. While simultaneously across town, another Marty witnesses a terrorist attack take place at the Twins, which are actually the Twin Towers, a fact we learned from the secretly placed Twin Towers movie released on October 2015. This movie is actually The Walk, which is why it has Marty McFly standing on top of the Twin Towers.
What's the meaning of this?
What's with the wire? What's with the wire? What's with the wire? What's with the wire? What's with the wire?
Find out in 30 years! Find out in 30 years!
Doc! 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 Doc!
Okay, relax, Doc. It's me. It's me. It's Marty.
No, it can't be. Just sent you back to the future.
Oh, I know you did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott.
What do you think of that?
Whew, that's a trip, man. You know what's funny is about my sister and her husband were just talking about that specific piece about how 9/11 was predicted in
Really? When was this?
2 weekends ago, before I was coming over here.
Wow.
But they didn't really know how to explain it. They just said that his sister had said something about it, and boy, when you paint it like that, woo-wee!
Well, last night I watched about 4 or 5 videos about 9/11 predictive programming. That one to me
that takes the cake.
Is the most eerie. I was telling Jeremiah earlier that I easily could have gone down a rabbit hole and done a whole episode on DC/Marvel comic book, what you could call predictive programming, with the numerous things happening to 9/11. But I just kind of did a best of, because anybody out there listening, you're obviously on the internet and you have access to this information. But
for now,
the best of hits. And I tried to do this just kind of like when we did our Bermuda Triangle episode. I tried to go in linear order. So we're going to start all the way back in 1962.
Whoa. What?
This is Strange Adventures, the battle between the two Earths. And so
for those that are listening and can't see,
go watch this episode. That's probably just the best advice I can give you right now. But yeah, describe it.
So it's a DC comic.
You can do this in all of them.
And the title is Strange Adventures, Volume 1, 141, number 141, featuring battle between two Earths. And there's a globe. And on that globe, there's a plane with like a firing missile kind of that's shooting at a tower. And it looks like there are two towers about the same height, but it kind of looks like the Empire State Building and another building.
It looks to me like maybe the other one would be over here.
Yeah, like it's one of the twin towers. And somebody is watching this happen, and that one tower is getting split in half.
Or maybe he's in the other tower.
Maybe he is in the other tower. That's a good point.
I don't know. It'd probably be a lot closer. Vantage.
But yeah, 1962 Battle Between Two Earths. That's a trippy one. I'd be interested to read that comic. Wonder if it's on eBay. Now, where's this coming from? Is this a comic book or what is this?
Is this a
New York Times by the Committee for a Reasonable World Trade Center. 1968. The mountain comes to Manhattan, and there's a plane to the right of the frickin' Twin Towers.
And these clouds here look like they could be explosions. Right around the level.
Yeah, they kind of do look like that.
So I want to say right off the bat, a lot of these could be coincidental. But it's kind of like the Denver International Airport. Once you see a shitload of stuff.
How many coincidences do you need? Cracked magazine in 1975. The top, it says, this issue is a complete disaster. And it shows somebody wearing a all white with a yellow button above a cracking foundation. And in the background looks like one of the Twin Towers getting hit by an airplane with explosions, fiery explosions. And that's July of 1975.
This one I'll describe because it's kind of hard to see. Or maybe we could just take turns. Osteoarthritis, OA. And I don't know exactly what year this is from, but the Twin Towers are represented by legs, and there's the joints of the legs where your knees would be. And the caption of the advertisement says, everyone thinks that their joints are safe or strong until one day osteoarthritis, and that is the airplane, collapses them. So you got your joints here, and the airplane's going to collapse your joints.
That's just pretty interesting. Until one day osteoarthritis collapses them.
We always hear the word collapse when describing.
Yep.
But dude, I thought this one was one of the weirder ones, really.
A Pakistani Airlines ad.
1979.
VIAPIA.
It's a new
New York, 16 hours and 30 minutes. And it's got the Twin Towers and a shadow of a jumbo jet. Looks like to be a 747 in my eyes.
And if you would look at this, you would wonder where the shadow's being casted from. Where's that airplane going to go?
It looks like it's going straight for it.
And I mean, the fact that it's Pakistan,
yeah,
that is where we supposedly got bin Laden.
Yeah.
And if supposedly it was Pakistan and Saudi Arabia that most of the terrorists, if you're to believe the official narrative, came from. For you, those of you classic rock fans, there is a Supertramp album, also from the year 1979. This one's insane, because when you look at it head on, it just says Supertramp, but there's the Twin Towers. Now, when you flip it into the mirror and you do reverse, it clearly says 9/11, and it has the Twin Towers right there.
Right underneath 9/11.
This one was always a little weird. Happy accident, predictive programming.
And then you also have to wonder, is it just like serendipity or like somebody tuned into the freaking mind hive of the world, of the universe?
This is a book written in Spanish called Así sufre Latino America means Latin Americans suffer. And not only is this one creepy because the World Trade Center's blowing up on both of them, but you can see people
jumping
to their deaths. This is 1983. This is the year I was born. This one's pretty crazy.
What?
Yeah, and I mean just the size of it.
Marvel Comics The War in 1987, and the Pentagon has a big old fucking hole in it. Like it was hit from a missile. I mean, a plane, a terrorist hijacked.
But we're assuming it was a plane.
A terrorist hijacked plane, for sure. For sure.
This one's a little eerie.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what month that came out.
So, Friends, when you freeze frame a certain part of the show and zoom in, you get the word end centered over the two towers, where the end would be right between them. Another happy accident, perhaps. But we all know who's controlling the media at this point. So to say maybe it wasn't an accident, you out there decide on that one. I'm trying to decide whether we should do these all together, but I think I'll just do this one. There is a card game that was made in the 80s called the Illuminati card game, and it looks like Magic the Gathering or D&D type style shit. But take a look at these two cards. Steve Jackson's Illuminati card game, inspired by Robert Anton Wilson's trilogy, The Illuminatus. So this one, Terrorist Nuke.
Play this card at any time to give plus 10 power or resistance, your choice, to any violent group you control. If used with an action, it must be played when that action is first declared and counts only for that action. If used for defense, the bonus lasts until the end of the current turn and is good for defense only, and does not count towards goals. And clearly the Twin Towers, one of them is being blown up. And then they have the Pentagon being blown up also. Each corporate group directly controlled by the Pentagon lets you draw one extra plot card each turn. Power for 6 and resistance for 6. Straight violent government.
So I went online and I found this card game. We'll just go over these real quick. Flat Earthers. People laugh, but the Flat Earthers know something. This is a game from the 1980. They had editions all the way through 95. For their action, you may roll 2 dice. If your roll equals less than the number of places you control, the Flat Earthers' weird alternate geology has led them to a gold strike, and you may draw. Wow. Eat the Rich. I mean, these to me, I just picked these ones out because they really resemble a lot of our recent history. Here's one about Bill Clinton. He's got a dog leash on and he's flipping a coin.
What?
I mean, to me, this reeks Epstein. Dog leash. Bill Clinton flipping a coin.
Straight, liberal, sometimes government. You know, we can buy some of these on eBay.
Yeah, I saw that. Look at this one.
We should get a set.
CFL, AIO, corporate long-haul trucker strike.
Wow.
A little reminiscent of today. Here's a bunch of groups turning on each other. This is the New World Order card.
Fear and Loathing.
You got looks like a construction worker with like the don't tread on me.
Paranoia increases worldwide.
This card game, I mean, I want to know about the guy who wrote it. New federal budget. Look at this. Dump trucks just being dumped into a hole. Dump trucks full of cash money. Place an action token on each of your government groups, which does not already have one. This card may be played at any time. Nice.
We should get a set of these.
So this was Saddam Hussein, man. He can infuriate any government by making a few speeches, totally distracting them from what they are doing. He can cancel any one government action at any time. Here's one for today.
Oh, an energy crisis.
We got a line of cars waiting to get gas. Big backdrop of a fuel gauge with the
pyramid.
Yeah, and we're on empty. Don't forget to smash the state. I found this one to be interesting. They're pulling down statues. Distrust of government is at an all-time high and society is crumbling. Reduce the power of all government groups by 3.
China.
This one's interesting because the natural resources of China give one extra action to the group that controls it, if that group is corporate. China has endured for thousands of years and will likely be here for thousands more. Any attempt to destroy it has a penalty of -20.
Oh, shit.
Ask LeBron James how that goes.
Oh, man.
Isn't this insane?
That's crazy.
This fucking card
dude.
games.
I want to get a set.
Okay, I found this one to be interesting because martial law and they're outside of the Capitol. There's another one. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Storming of the Capitol. March on
Washington, huh?
And this brings on martial law.
Really unhappy.
No, don't like it. Grr. Where's the shaman? Where's the QAnon shaman?
You may march on Washington only once per turn. Wait. Play this card along with the plot card that requires an action or actions. This card substitutes for any one action of a power of 6 or less for any alignment or tribute, though not an Illuminati action. However, you must discard the top undrawn plot from your own deck. What day of the month did that thing happen? Oh, right. January 6th. Okay.
I thought you would make that conclusion. Here, we already went over that one.
Crazy, man. Oh, power to the people.
Destroy conservative groups and control liberal groups.
Wow.
I don't have anything to say about that. That has nothing to do with what's going on lately.
Nope.
This one's interesting because she was still alive when they made this card. All your other liberal groups get +1 power. Princess Di and her puppets are immune to attack by your rivals. Peace for liberal groups, except for by the media. And if you know how they say that she died, which is fucking bullshit, but they say that it was the paparazzi that ran her car off the road. So that's why I picked this one. This one might be my favorite.
Oh, wow.
She's immune to attack unless it's the media. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So this one's got a mask and some discarded gloves and a vaccine. It's entitled Epidemic. It's got a
body
needle.
bags in the background, too?
Yep.
Quarantine.
This is an attack to destroy in place. It does not require an action. This is not an instant attack. Other groups interfere normally. If the attack succeeds, the target is devastated. This attack cannot actually destroy the target.
Huh.
That's it.
That's a beautiful find, man.
I know. And I just was trying to make sure those cards were real, and I stumbled upon the whole deck.
Man, let's buy a couple. Apparently, they came out with one in 2020.
Okay, so that was a little side tangent. Here's one from 1994. What is Al-Qaeda? You got to pick a magazine, Viceland magazine article from 94, and it looks like it's Beavis and Butthead have gone Al-Qaeda, and they're circling airplanes around the World Trade Center, right?
And one of them has a bomb.
Yeah.
And the other one's like saying rock on.
Hey, Beavis. I think it's going to blow.
Oh, but see, what does it say at the top there? Remember that what?
Remember that Ryder truck that was crammed? Oh, my God, they're talking about the first one. Remember that Ryder truck that was crammed with canisters of compressed hydrogen and a few nice long fuses and driven into the World Trade Center's underground parking structure and blew up last year? It blasted a hole through 4 levels of concrete sub-basement. Some experts say that if it were a few feet closer to the essential support column, it could have brought both towers down. That's just an intro to this article. But this is fucking 7 years predating Al-Qaeda and CBD, air quotes, taking down, supposedly, the World Trade Center. This one's insane. This is from a Simpsons, a freeze frame from a Simpsons.
New York
you want to
versus
describe
Homer.
it?
New York versus Homer Simpson, 1997. It looks like Bart's got some money there, and somebody else is holding up a sign saying New York, $9, and then right behind it, to the right of the 9, is the World Trade Center's making an 11.
So this is a very quick frame. I actually watched the episode or the scene last night, and Lisa holds up They're basically just trying to talk Homer into going to New York, and Lisa holds up a magazine with an advertisement. But the freeze frame is as Jeremiah described, and it is eerie as fuck. I'd say this one to me, out of all the Simpsons shit that I've looked at, we just went through a number of them. Here's from a FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency.
They're here to help.
Self-study manual from the year 1997, and it's got all the insignias at the bottom of the DOJ, and then there's in the fucking crosshairs of the terrorists, one of the Twin Towers.
Emergency response to terrorism, August 1997.
Kind of creepy. Here is a cluster of shit that came out right before 9/11. This is the Trade Center Defender, early 2001.
What is this, video game?
Yeah, and you're supposed to be shooting down airplanes that are trying to fly into the World Trade Center.
Okay.
Weird. April 27th, 2001, Johnny Bravo. And this is so brief. These two, I watched this last night too. So these two are facing off, and it starts to pan. And you just see coming soon. So this is April 27th, 2001, and it shows...
Oh my God. Oh my God. It shows one of the trade centers on fire.
Okay. This album was supposed to come out in September of 2001, the later part of September. And it's The Coup. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Sounds familiar.
And the album is called Music Party. Or, excuse me, it's called Party Music.
Wow, really?
And it got delayed, and then the record company made them change the name, or change the album cover. And look what she's doing. She's not making a triangle.
Wow. And he's like maybe pushing a bomb?
That's like the detonator, right?
Oh my God. What?
This album was released on September 11th.
Wow, the whole Big
It's
Apple's
New York
on
on fire. I don't think they were made to change the cover like those other two because they're white. Yeah, if you want to bring that up, I just got one more thing to close this out.
Jay-Z, The Blueprint, is the sixth studio album by American rapper Jay-Z. It was released on September 11th, 2001 by Rockefeller Records and Def Jam Records. Its release was set a week earlier than initially planned in order to combat bootlegging. Recording sessions for the album took place during 2001 at the Manhattan Center Studios and Baseline Studios in New York City. Contrasting the radio-friendly sound of Jay-Z's previous work, The Blueprint features soul-based sampling and production handled primarily by Kanye West, Just Blaze, and Bink, as well as Timbaland, Trackmasters, and Eminem, who also contributed to the album's soul guest feature. At the time of the album's recording, Jay-Z was awaiting 2 criminal trials, one for gun possession and another for assault, and had become one of hip-hop's most dissed artists, receiving insults from from rappers such as Nas, Prodigy, and Jadakiss. The album is also famous for both its producers, Kanye and Just Blaze, breakouts as major producers. So the sixth album by Jay-Z was released on September 11th.
But does it have any like foreshadowing stuff?
Go to the what songs were on there? It should have that, I think. Oh, right there.
Track list would be right there.
There it is. The Ruler's Back, Takeover.
Izzo. Girl, go, girls. Jigga the...
I'm sure we probably need to listen to it. But I think Zach Hubbard has done a breakdown on this as well. So yeah, Jay-Z is even on it.
Well, of course he is.
I mean, Jay-Z's been inserted into the middle of it.
So for all of you CPT folk out there, I'm sure there's some X-Files fans. And it would only be the really hardcore X-Files fans that remember the Lone Gunman. And the Lone Gunman is a trio of nerdy-ass conspiracy theorists. One of them's like a dude who's like, he's like kind of dwarfy and balding, middle-aged man, wears leather jackets. The other one's like a dude with long hair, looks like he would have been part of a post-rock 80s band. And the other guy is like a dude in a suit and a tie who looks like maybe he wanted to be in the CIA but became a conspiracy theorist instead. So anyway, Mulder always went to these three whenever he like wanted some down low info because they were like computer hackers / conspiracy theorists.
They were in on the know.
Yeah. So they got their own show after X-Files continued its run.
Oh.
And in March 4th of 2001, the pilot episode, we're going to do a little video from there. So we're talking 6 months and 7 days before 9/11, 2001. This premiered, pilot episode of The Lone Gunman.
Let him in before somebody sees him.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats on not being dead.
Oh, the day is young.
Byers, you want to clue us in?
We got a plane to catch.
Atlanta National announces your final boarding call for flight 65 Washington D.C. Boston Logan Airport. All passengers for Atlanta National flight.
See anyone you recognize?
No, but that doesn't mean they're not around.
Okay. Let's board. Check the cabin for free hydrocarbons. Try to pinpoint that bomb.
This is your plan? I still think we should call in a bomb threat. Let the FBI deal with this.
You said yourself we don't know the full extent of this conspiracy. We can't trust any government official. Only hope is to get on that plane.
They're boarding.
Then that's 2 problems solved.
Find anything?
The luggage hold's clear if this thing can be trusted. What'd you do, make it with your erector set?
We're absolutely sure that this is the targeted flight.
This flight was chosen primarily for its visibility. It's scheduled to pass over Manhattan on its way to Boston.
You said they intend to bring us down in the middle of New York City? What if there is no bomb?
What do you mean, no bomb?
Langley, I need you to hack into the aircraft's onboard navigation system. We need to know where we're headed.
Okay, go into headsets. I'll clone the airphone's carrier. Make them think we're sending a ground-to-air fax.
That's one twisted star 69.
I'll just get ready to ride the wave, hippie boy.
Just get me on that plane and I'll get you autopilot access.
How are you going to do that?
Airline telemetry systems use processors similar to those found in CB radios.
I'm in. We got ourselves a convoy.
What's your progress? I've hacked into the flight control system output.
I'm mapping the data now.
Byers, your flight's gonna make an unscheduled stop in exactly 22 minutes.
The corner of Liberty and Washington. Lower Manhattan.
World Trade Center. We're gonna crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
I'll tell the flight crew.
Langley, can you override the flight control system? I'm working on it.
What is this? My name is Bert Byers. I work for the government. I believe this plane has been commandeered.
Sir, passengers are not allowed in the cockpit. I need you to return to your seat now.
You don't have control of this plane, and I don't know if we can get it back. Turn off your autopilot. There may be a chance that we can override it.
Sir, I'll be happy to contact your superiors in the government to confirm. Sir, damn it!
Damn it! He's right.
All right, try cutting electrical power.
Thought of that. They've thought of everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're experiencing some technical difficulties up here. At this time, we'd like you all to return to your seats.
And kiss your asses goodbye.
Finally, we're getting close.
I know.
Damn it! New York Center, this is Atlantic National Flight 265 Heavy. We are declaring an emergency. We have 110 souls on board, 16,000 pounds of fuel, and no dangerous goods or cargo to report.
Come on, Pro Hickey. Your fronts have failed, haven't they?
There's still hope.
Hope my next turnout's as nice as my last one.
We've got manual override.
Near miss.
We can't get to the FBI. We'll go public. With your testimony, we can break this conspiracy wide open. Bring Overlord down. The whole operation. Dad. What is it?
You're a brave man, John.
You're not going to testify. You're going to let them cover this up.
They almost killed me twice. They won't fail a third time. My silence will keep me alive. And you? I know you and your friends are fighting for the American dream. Just don't expect to win.
Wow. That's all I have to say about that. I got the
March
chills
4th,
all over, dude.
March 4th, 2001.
Woo!
So that's unless you have some commentary on that.
That's heavy, bro.
That's the episode. That's what I got for you on 9/11 predictive programming.
Oh, I hope you all were sitting for that one, because whoo!
No one knows about that shit either.
That's crazy, bro! Just a coincidence, though.
You and your friends are trying to save the American dream. What do you say? But you fell.
But you're not going to win.
But you're not going to win. Well, CPT players out there, I think maybe we can win.
I hope so.
Next time we do one of these predictive programming episodes, it's going to be on the coronavirus. I was going to try to pair those together today.
A little too much, maybe.
All right, man, sign us out.
Stay strong out there. Remember, while you can't control everything that's going on out there, you can control what's in your mind. So take over this beast that's inside your mind and take control of your life.
And go watch the Lone Gunman pilot episode.
Stop!
April 28th, 2018 by a OSU, Ohio State University student by the name of Daria Beaver. Predictive programming. He's predictive programming. We need a robot. Predictive programming.
Predictive programming.
In.
You know, there is a bot on here that we can make it read it.
I can't handle that.
Predictive programming is a theory that the government or other.
I got this. Predictive programming. What the fuck is going on? Take 4. Predictive programming is theory. I got it, man. I just cut this out.
I just have to shut up.
Predictive programming is theory that the government or other higher ups are using fiction.